When you come across people that have been in the military that might have like some kind of mental anguish or PTSD or stuff like that, do you approach talking to them differently? Or?
For me, man, I just got to let the Spirit talk through me, man. I just hope that God and, the Spirit will show up at the right time. We've had Army vets that have been borderline suicidal and came up to me and said, hey, Will, last week I had a gun in my mouth and this week I'm in here working out. And now their life is completely changed and better. Lost a client 2 weeks ago to a motorcycle accident, and we trained 2 days a week for a year, and we shared some very close, intimate conversations and times. And I got to be in situations like that where I got to pray by her bedside with her family, and it's a very rewarding career where you get to see different things every single day. Once I was able to see like God's hand in this and Him reaffirming to me like, you're seeing my work be done right now, I just pray for Him to show up. And He shows me little things, and I know that in the pits of my soul, that little hole that only God can fill, that this was all His doing.
So let's say we're at your funeral, Will, and when somebody's reading your eulogy or people are talking about you, what is it that you want people to say about you when all is said and done?
Hey, welcome to the Alive and Well podcast, where my hope is that we create long-lasting transformation from the inside out as I connect with people who want the same for us. My guest today is Will Doyle, owner and head trainer at Will Power Fitness, located in Lakeland, Florida. He served in the military for over 2 decades. He is now leading health and wellness with over 2 decades of experience. Will brings a personalized approach and a community aspect to his training over in Lakeland. Will has been voted twice as Best Trainer of the Year. So I'm excited to talk to Will. I hope you guys are too. Let's get into this.
Before we continue, I want to plug the GoFundMe below. We're raising money to build water wells in India and other places of the world. This is for small villages, rural areas that don't get adequate drinking water or clean drinking water. They don't have a neighborhood dollar store or Walmart that they can just pop by and grab some bottled water. So we've been doing this, and it's been successful the last couple times we've done it. And it doesn't take a lot of money. $500 is pretty much all we need, and we can build at least one or feed a couple families with that money. So can you help us reach our goal of building 3 water wells this year? That means $1,500 total. And so with your generosity today, someone or a group of people today can say they are alive and well. Thanks.
Will, thank you so much for doing this with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Before we start into like just questions and all that stuff, I always do like to just understand a person in a holistic manner. And so that means we got to go back to young Will. Okay. And just kind of get an idea of like, what was young Will like? Because a lot of how we think today, or our thoughts and our patterns and our behaviors, kind of stem from like a young age or our environments or things that we grew up in. So I'd like to just ask you, Will, like, what was it like being young Will? What was the household like? Maybe talk a little bit about your parents, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. So I was raised in upstate New York, moved down to Florida roughly the summer of 8th grade. But growing up in New York, everything was sports, outside, any sports. We would play them all in the streets, from t-ball to, basketball. We had, I think every house in my neighborhood had kids at it. So, it's not like the kids of today where they're inside playing video games. Like, we wanted to be outside and even try to fight our parents to stay outside once they want us to come in for dinner or whatever. Yeah. But started getting into sports at a young age, played all sports, moved down to Florida, got involved in like organized high school ball, played basketball for high school. My dad was an athlete. My uncle was an athlete. My dad was a big baseball pitcher in upstate New York. Probably still holds records to this day in like Little League and things like that. My mom loves to work out. She's fit. She's got a ton of muscle, but she never played any sports. But I think I got some good genetics from both sides there to help me excel. I never played any collegiate level, sports or anything like that. Although I think I could have, but
you got the build for it.
Yeah, in the Army, I played a lot of sports. I played on organized basketball teams and things like that, and just kind of led me down the fitness route. I was never a big gym guy until I got into the service. Started hitting the gym when I was in the service. Fell in love with it right around. I was a late bloomer when it comes to working out. I'd say probably 22 is when I kind of started. 41 now, so getting up there in the years, but. Just enjoyed working out the entire time, and I decided, the military has offered to pay for my college to go and excel at something in a career, and fitness was the thing that attracted me the most.
Yeah.
Basically because there wasn't a lot of math classes involved. So I did that and went down that route, and I got my a 4-year degree in that, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And just started having guinea pig clients and running small group fitness classes. I love continuing education when it comes to my career. I love mentoring my trainers and my members alike to maybe one day they'll go get a certification, or one day they will coach their, sister in the garage or something like that. It's all about giving back at this point and using, my knowledge and my setup here as a ministry, and just trying to help others, man, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually.
Yeah.
So
one of the things you said was you started working out like later in life at 22. Were you like a skinny guy growing up?
always
Yeah.
a skinny dude. I could send you, maybe you could plug it into this. I have a picture in my phone of me on the freshman basketball team, like holding a basketball like this, and I look like straight white Kenyan. just got done running 7 marathons and need to eat a sandwich. But yeah.
I mean, looking at you now, like you got the form to like you were like a linebacker in like high school or something.
Honestly, that took years.
Yeah.
It took years. Just being patient, time in the trenches, trying to eat right for the most part, lifting heavy, and just staying consistent. Whether a week-long vacation comes up or an injury happens or something happens in the family, just trying to stay consistent the whole time.
Yeah, and I think that's a word that a lot of us struggle with, is consistency, especially in your health and wellness journey. What I get a good vibe from you and this place here is that it's accountability and consistency. And then along with that mentoring kind of coaching of life. And so I cherish those things, because whenever people ask me questions about, so I said, hey, you can do something really well for 5 days, but it's being in the dirt, in the trenches, like you said, for 30 days, for a year, for 10 years, right? Yep. And then that stuff will kind of show. So, yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit later on some of that advice. You said you served, and I want to thank you for your service, obviously.
Thank you, bro.
What was that deciding factor for you that made you want to join the military? Instead of like doing anything else, you could have been a chef or
we're gonna keep it real. Like, I was doing nothing with my life. I was working a dead-end construction job. I was all about, at this time of my life, I wasn't playing any sports. I was all about partying, girls, and hanging out with my friends. That was it. I lived in a 1-bedroom little studio apartment that was attached to some other lady's house, and kind of in the hood in Sarasota. And my rent was $500 a month. I'd give the guy $500 cash, throw it in his mailbox every month. And I wasn't doing anything, man. I would stay up and party till 3 a.m., wake up and go to the construction site at 7 a.m. And it just became this reoccurring, not doing anything with my life, no goals, no nothing. And essentially it was my parents who encouraged me. Like, Willie, you're not doing nothing with your life. Go. They'll take care of your college. You'll get a career, blah, blah, blah. So I finally broke down, and I actually had signed up originally when I was like 19, and then flaked out because I went to a family reunion in upstate New York, and my uncle used to be in the Navy.
Okay.
And now he's kind of like a hippie, and I was up there, and we were hanging out at this barbecue on the lake, and he's like, don't do it, man. They're going to send you straight to war, man. Don't go. So then I got all scared, and then I went home. My mom's like, did you talk to your Uncle Mike? Did he talk you out of it? And I was like, yeah. Man. So I bailed out, kept doing the same thing, living that crappy lifestyle, man, a very godless lifestyle, and ended up getting to about the age of 22 and said, all right, let's do it. My parents said, we'll take care of your apartment. We'll take care of your car. Just go. Yeah. Let's go. And I did it, man. And I fell in love with it. I re-enlisted. My initial was, I think, 4 years. I re-enlisted for 2 more. I re-enlisted for 2 more. They dangled a little sign-up bonus in front of your face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I could really use that $3,000. So ended up staying in for 9 years and loved it. And I still keep in very close contact with a lot of my buddies that I was in with.
You're like the exception of like the guy that will just make the decision and just go. I think a lot of people think maybe more. Did you think a lot during that process?
This is a funny story. So I love sports so much at the time. I know I said I took a little hiatus because I was partying and girls and all that. But the only question that I asked my recruiter, we sat down in that office, he's like, you're going to have to do this. You're going to go there. You're going to go. Do you have any questions? I was like, will I be able to play basketball in basic training? And he's like, oh, yeah, they got intramural teams. You'll be playing against other platoons. They'll have tournaments on base. I never saw a single basketball or hoop the entire basic training. Man. So, but that got me in.
They got you in, and no regrets.
Yep.
Here's a little side question. I was doing some research on you, and I saw this article, and it was I found out you got to meet the WWE wrestling legend Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh yeah,
You were on that show. I used to watch that show a lot.
great show. Great.
I forget what
Sucks
it's
they
called
canceled
now.
it.
Yeah,
Steve Austin's Broken Skull.
that's right,
Challenge.
Broken Skull, and not many people get to meet Mr. Austin. What's that like? Is he as like?
Oh, he's cool, man. He's cool. Super jacked. You know,
Yeah.
he permanently walks around like this. One, because he's full of muscle. The two, I think he fractured both his elbows doing wrestling. But yeah, really cool. And I went on the show twice. I went on season 2, episode 5, and I ended up winning that episode.
Nice.
So they invited me back for like this all-star episode later on in season 5.
Yeah.
So when I went to go back in season 5, there was a lot more one-on-one with him. And, because it was people he had seen before. So we're cutting it up, and I'll tell a funny story. So we got done with, we were competing for the day. We were done for the day. They were going to send us back to the hotel. And I had on this shirt from Walmart that was a bald eagle with a mullet with a bandana tied around, and it said America on the top. And I was wearing this while I was competing. And at the end of it, Steve had on this Broken Skull shirt. And I was going to say, I'm going to ask him if he wants to trade shirts with me.
Yeah.
I was like, Steve, let me get that shirt. And he looks at my shirt and he goes, maybe if it said America instead of America, I'd let you have it. This is my highlight of my time. But yeah, he super humble guy, and I think he has a strong faith as well. From what I gathered, hanging out and talking to him. Sure. And obviously, he had to put on a persona when he was doing his wrestling.
Yeah.
But I think behind closed doors, he's a good dude.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people love the guy. I watched him growing up, so it's pretty cool that
1 beer, 2 beers.
Did he ever like drink a bunch of beers in front of you guys like that?
He was trying to promote. This is at the time that his new brew line company came out, some kind of IPAs or something he was selling.
You spent time in Iraq. From just doing a little research on you, that is something that not a lot of people have done. Tell us a little bit about some of your experience, if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, so we started off, we worked at the Abu Ghraib prison. We were the last Americans to be at Abu Ghraib prison. Me and my commander, actually, I made it a point that I was the last person to step foot in Abu Ghraib prison. It was kind of handing the keys over to the Iraqi army at the time. Mm-hmm. At that time, we were on a Hearts and Minds mission. So it was kind of de-escalating the violence at the time is what we were doing. And I remember we were the last ones to me and my captain were the last ones to step foot on Abu Ghraib. We handed the keys over to the Iraqi army. They promised us that they wouldn't turn it into a prison. And then the next week they ended up hanging 7 people there, including 2 women. Wow. But there was nothing we could do at that point. Yeah. And then when we left the prison, we did convoys for the rest of the time we were there, which was we all looked forward to that. That's what we trained for. So that was probably the most memorable part of the deployment, was being out in the streets and doing the convoys.
Yeah. A lot of people in their deployments, they always come back and have some kind of mental kind of health or PTSD kind of stuff. Do you struggle with that at all at this point in your life?
I do. Yeah. I go and I do my little appointments at the VA, and I have a pantry full of meds that they try to get me to take. And if I'm ever really struggling with anything, like the anxiety gets pretty bad sometimes for me, social anxiety, and they call it hypervigilance, just always, especially when I'm with my family. It's very protective mode. I need to sit, facing the door wherever I'm at, things like that. And I try to stay away from the meds, man, as long as I keep my exercise up, keep my sleep up, avoid depressants like alcohol and things like that, then I'm usually pretty good. But they're there. The meds are there just in case, but I'm not a big believer.
So when you come across people that have been in the military that might have like some kind of mental anguish or PTSD or stuff like that, do you approach it? Because you come from a background now of like faith and maybe that helps you in part of that. Do you approach talking to them differently, or is there some kind of like methodology in your mind that has helped you that you've seen people do better with as you talk to them about it?
Yeah, it's for me, man, I just gotta let the Spirit talk through me, man. I just hope that God and the Spirit will show up at the right time when I'm talking to somebody. And I pray about that often, like, God, use me this week, put me in situations where I can help others, and talk to me so I don't sound like a idiot when I'm trying to convey, my beliefs or, what I think they should do,
Yeah.
if I think they should pray or go to church or get their butt in the gym, whatever. I just ask for the Spirit to talk through me because I can't do it on my own. I'm not, I've never been the type to kind of be a good, communicator when it comes to that stuff, but people seem to take in the stuff that I'm telling them and they seem to use it. And I feel like God is giving me that power to kind of to work for him here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without him. So yeah, just vibing off, the feedback I'm getting from, whether it be a veteran or somebody going through some stuff. And I've had to be a therapist in here a lot, man. I lost a client 2 weeks ago to a motorcycle accident, and we trained 2 days a week for a year, and we shared some very close, intimate conversations and times. And I was there. I watched her pass at Lakeland Regional Hospital. I hauled my butt up there before they pulled the cord, and I got to be in situations like that where I got to pray by her bedside with her family, and it's a very rewarding career where you get to see different things every single day.
Well, I know you're a big supporter of the community. You've done a lot for Lakeland. You stay connected. In the health and wellness kind of industry and the journey of a person, I'm a big believer in community. Like, you just can't do things alone. Can you talk about just what community has meant to you, and then specifically to like Lakeland? What has the community of Lakeland meant to you, and how has it impacted your business?
So there's a lot of things that we support throughout the years, and I love to support anything that has to do with missions trips or church events or church. Like there was a church golf thing that we sponsored, so we always do that every single year. And you bless others, and it comes back to you. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I've been learning that more actually. I went to a fundraiser for Visti Golf, and there was a guy. He's the International Diamond Store guy.
Okay, yeah.
And he does like a bunch of these MC gigs, and he's like, man, just one thing about Lakeland. You just do everything you can for Lakeland, and they will help you out. But then he also said, but if you do nothing for Lakeland, they will turn their backs on you. I was like, oh, okay, that's some good advice.
That sounds very Polk County.
Yeah. All right, so I want to talk about just fitness and the health industry and just what you're in, right? Let's start with something simple. Like, people come in and they are nervous about working out or just training, and they have some misconceptions. Like, what's some common misconceptions or some myths that stop people from working out or just getting into a healthy lifestyle? What do you think? What have you heard?
I think for most people, it's what's the word I'm looking for? They're overestimating how much they have to do. Like, I have to work out 5 times a week. My diet has to be 100% on point. My diet is not 100% on point. All right. I like food. I like a whiskey every now and then. So I'm not 100% on point, but I try to stay consistent, and that consistency builds up over the years.
Gotcha.
And that can, I know this when people come in, they think, oh, is 2 days going to be enough for me? I'm currently training my wife 1 day a week for 45 minutes. I have her on a program. I have her taking creatine. Every single week, I see her getting stronger. That's it. I keep the stocked up Premier Protein just because it's prepackaged and she has no excuses. She can grab it, and I got the creatine gummies right on the counter, so that limits excuses.
Yeah.
And just over, because she lost like 40 pounds recently, so just over the course of training her for a couple months now, I'm seeing great results, and that's 1 day a week.
Yeah.
So anything is better than nothing. And I tell these people in here, and they're like, I don't want to look like a man. One, that's not going to happen. You got to take testosterone. Seeing a woman that's jacked like a dude, they're either on some kind of pro hormones or they have very rare genetics. That's as rare as seeing a 7-foot man. Yeah. So just trying to let people know from the get go. And I have developed as a trainer over the years to where now I'm a lot more empathetic, sympathetic, and humble when I sit down with these folks in my office. Like, we don't need to do this and do that.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite tricks to use with new clients is adding stuff to their life instead of trying to take away.
Okay.
So I don't want to take away your diet sodas yet. But I do want to add an extra hour of sleep per night if we can. I do want to add some mobility on it. We don't need to take away that Friday night pizza that you have with your kids.
Right.
Like, little things that we can add on, because that's part of a behavioral health thing as well, a mental game. You don't want to feel like you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Like, let them enjoy life, and anything I can do on top of the strength training with me that they can do outside it, just start walking. Walk your dog 3 days a week. Little things.
Yeah, it is the little things. I read a study that there was at this college, they were trying to get people to drink more water. And so they didn't change anything about the cafeteria at the college. Okay. All they did was they moved the water closer to the cashiers. And what they did was they saw that people were more likely to buy the water than the Coke.
Yeah.
And so it's like little things that they didn't need to tell people about doing this and that. They just said, let's just make this little change. And I think that's what you're doing. Say, hey, we don't need to change everything about your life. Just make this little change and you're going to see dramatic results, right?
Absolutely. And they start eventually, hopefully, they start getting more addicted.
Yeah.
And they know what it feels like to not work out for a week. Man, I got to go back to the gym. I feel like crap. I just had the beach all weekend, and whatever it may be. And then anything I could do to influence them, like, hey, start listening to a fitness podcast. Hey, start, telling your friends and family that you're working out.
Yeah.
They'll help keep you accountable.
Yeah.
And then if, like with me, with the continuing education with faith-based stuff, man, if it's always here, like I'm listening to testimonies, I'm listening to continuing education about fitness stuff, I'm listening to near-death experience videos, like I'm trying to keep it all faith and fitness educated. So if somebody is doing none of that, and I say, hey, listen to this podcast once a week. Hey, everything that Will's telling me is what I need to be doing. Oh, I'm hearing it now from an outside source.
Yeah.
They'll be influenced to be more apt to be in this gym, or any gym.
One of the things that I find really hard, or at least even for me in the health and wellness and fitness industry, nutrition, it just seems like every day there's like something different about something, right? You probably can remember the days when eggs were bad and then eggs were good and then eggs are bad. And then now eggs are just cost too much. So it's like, what can we do? So if nutrition is so complicated, how do you address it in a way that doesn't make people anxious or nervous? Like, what is your nutritional tips or hacks that you help your clients kind of think through?
Aim for your goal weight in grams of protein. Get your sleep. Sleep is number one. I know that's not nutrition, but I think it trumps everything. 7 to 9 hours for the average adult. Don't overwork. You don't need to start out with 5 days a week. Let's go 2 to 3 days a week of good lifting. Get your water in. So for every pound of body weight, so basically if you're 100 pounds, you need 200 ounces of water, double that. And try to eat whole natural foods. Just eating whole natural foods, mainly sticking to the outside of the grocery store, you're going to lose weight just by doing that.
Yeah.
Or put on some good lean muscle just by doing that.
Yeah.
Shakes are great. I would use shakes in a crunch.
Yeah.
Like the young man I just was talking to in there, he's 15 years old. His metabolism's on fire. He's a hockey player. So I'm going to encourage he has a shake sometime after a workout maybe, and maybe a casein shake at night to help his little skinny butt, pack on some calories at night, give his body something to feed off of. Just a basic healthy multivitamin, maybe some fish oil, some D3. A lot of folks are slacking in D3, even though we're in Florida, but we're inside all the darn time because it's too hot.
Yeah.
My number one thing for diet is don't starve yourself and aim for your goal weight in grams of protein.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Protein's very filling. So if I have somebody that's overweight and they're overeating, start with your protein. And you may not want that, mac and cheese or French fries that are on the side.
Yeah, it seems like even in America, you would think that people are getting their protein in, but we have so much excess like carb, fast food. You would say, oh yeah, I have a burger, but it's like so much carbs to it. Yep. The ratio is like off. So people think they're just getting calories, right? In a sense. And so, yeah, it's a good reminder to get your protein in. So let's take you as an example. Give us your body weight and then how much protein you should take.
So I'm at 220 and I try to aim for 220 a day if I can. I usually, I'm up so early and here so early, I don't do a big breakfast. I wait until my first break. So as soon as I'm done with you guys, I'm going home and I'm having leftover, what do I have from last night? Steak, basmati rice, Brussels sprouts. I might even have an extra shake for lunch. Come back, get a workout in. But usually I start the day with a big shake, like 2 scoops, get up to like 50 grams for like a pre-breakfast. My creatine is in my protein every morning. Does creatine need to be in your morning protein? No, it should be whenever you can be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Research is showing that you're going to get a little more benefit for creatine if you have it post-workout, but it's really not a big deal. It's whenever you can do it. Like my wife has the gummies on the counter. That works for her. She has them every morning. So for me, it's usually a shake in the morning, a little bit of fasting after the shake, go home, have a big meal, maybe another shake later on or some kind of small meal, and then a big dinner before bed.
Okay.
2 hours before bed if I can do it with the putting the kids to bed. And
Yeah.
you
got a lot going on. I just want to ask you about some of your clientele. Just would you mind sharing maybe a success story or a story that recently has happened that you felt was the reason why you're in this industry, or helped you with your purpose and your why?
Man, I could do this all day. I could tell stories all day about this. So I have this client, and we'll say her name is Amanda because that's her name. She had a very rare brain stem issue, which caused her to have 6 brain surgeries in 1 year. That year has just passed. She started coming back to me. She recently, I want to say 2 months before she came to see me, she fractured her back. She had a small hairline fracture. She fell over, went to the doctor. Doctor did a DEXA scan on her, told her that she has osteopenia, borderline osteoporosis. She's been active her entire life. She's lifted weights her entire life, but because she was bedridden for a year to 15 months, that's how quick it happened. So she came to me. We started training 1 day a week. She's on the creatine, she's on the protein, and this caused her to have a lot of vertigo as well, the brainstem issue. So her balance is getting better. She can do walking lunges on her own now. When she first started, she was holding on to a pole. So really cool to see. And she went to the doctor. The doctor said, hey, you're borderline osteoporosis. We got this shot that we want to give you. This shot is $1,600. Insurance is going to cover 75% of it. Shot is $1,600 for the first one. $600 per month after that, basically for the rest of your life. I don't know what shot this is, Infinity or something like that.
Okay.
She sent me the name of it. Anyway, she started researching it. First side effect, heart attack and stroke. She's like, all right, I don't think I'll be taking that. So she goes home, talks to hubby, and she says, you know what? For the same amount of money, less, that I could go get this freaking shot, this unnatural shot, I'm going to go train with Will 2 or 3 days a week and avoid osteoporosis. So just to see her love for and her know-how that, hey, what we're doing here works. Strength training works. It's going to help avoid osteoporosis. It's going to increase that bone mineral density. It's just a short testimony that, she came in, and when she told me, hey, I shot down this shot and this medicine to come lift weights. And she's, I don't want to guess on her age. Let's say she's 55. All right. To be a 55-year-old woman and to know that this is more important than that medication, in the long run, I agree, so cool testimony.
Yeah.
We've had Army vets that have been borderline suicidal and came up to me and said, hey, Will, last week I had a gun in my mouth and this week I'm in here working out. And now their life is completely changed and better.
That's pretty awesome. We might have to talk about it more because faith is so important to you. And there's a lot of guys that I come across that in military service that I think have walked away from God because of what they've seen. Why is it that you walk towards God?
I was kind of raised in the faith. I never enjoyed going to church, although I was drugged to church all the time with my Catholic grandma, who taught me how to kind of navigate the Bible and pray and read my rosary. I don't practice Catholicism anymore. I'm more on the Christian, non-denominational. My soul just gets fed a little more through that, and it's all about Christ. So that's where I'm at right now. But once I was able to see like God's hand in this and Him reaffirming to me, like, you're seeing my work be done right now. Like, you're in a position, like I just pray for Him to show up, and He shows me little things. And I know that in the pits of my soul, that little hole that only God can fill, that's part of this is all His doing. Divine appointments with this person and talking to this person about that and getting them to go sit next to me in church. Like, He puts His hand in it and He shows me that this is what you need to be doing. And I got your back. And
I'm actually intrigued, and I think it would be a good, cool testimony story about God in your business and stuff. If you don't mind, maybe sharing a little bit more about the trials you had with your property.
So we rent here. This isn't my land. She's recently told me that she's not going to sell it to me. She got a letter by code enforcement saying that we had to install this giant paved parking lot. We have to convert from septic to city sewage. So basically what had happened is that after Hurricane Helene, some of our neighbors over here complained that the water runoff that was flooding their yards was coming from Willpower Fitness. Basically, she told me on the phone, Will, if this is a crazy amount of money, like $100,000 plus, I'm going to have to stop renting to you. And a lot of prayer went into Willpower staying here. And as of last week, we will be staying here.
Yeah.
But I feel that those prayers were like, God, you put me in this position. We've built this thing up. You know what we're doing here. Like, I didn't think that he would take it away. And it was so close to being taken away from us, to have to go move somewhere else or, start from ground zero in another town. And the prayers came through, dude. And it was like some supernatural stuff that happened during this last week that was like, God's like, I got you. Just chill out. All that worry for nothing.
Yeah. Thank you, Will, for just kind of talking with us and sharing a lot about your story, about your faith. I'm inspired, obviously, by you. And I've been wanting to do this for a while because when I first met you, a lot of people talk about you, obviously. But when I first met you, I was like, oh, man, I don't know what to expect, right? You always have this like kind of weird vibe when you meet somebody first time, first impression stuff. And I never had like an anxious or awkward feeling. I actually felt like very calming and peaceful and stuff like that. So it's a testament to who you are as a person. Awesome. You have a lot of like background that you could be like this anxious, like, kind of angry person or something.
I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to be.
And it shows that God, and if you don't have a faith in God, Will obviously does, but and I follow that same faith, but God has been working on in your life. And so that's awesome to hear the transformation of it. And I think that's what Alive and Well Health is trying to do, is one step at a time, little by little. It's a transformation from the inside out. You can't just, maybe you agree to this or not, you can't just like try to put on muscle and then the behavioral lifestyle is still like a problem, right? And so I think from people like Will and others that we change from the inside out, and that helps change our mindset, and then that helps change our body as well. So
perfect. Yeah. Well said.
My last question to you would be, at the end of your life, okay, let's go to the end of your life. And I had this kind of revelation recently. I went to a funeral, and a lot of what we do in our life is summed up in like 2 paragraphs on a pamphlet, right? Of like what you've done, like where you're from, and then basically a lot of quality and character stuff, right? So let's say we're at your funeral, Will, and I just want to know when somebody's reading your eulogy or people are talking about you, what is it that you want people to say about you when all is said and done?
That he's going to heaven to be with Jesus. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe that I was eternally minded. I was always thinking about other people's souls and, what they're going through, and just knowing that I was just a puzzle piece here in the kingdom to try to, do some work for God. That's it. And I think about that probably more than I should, like how am I going to be remembered, and I just want, even for my kids to see that I was helping that homeless man, or to see that I was, giving the shirt off my back to somebody, or giving away free trainings to somebody who really needed it, like just being one of God's workers here, man. That's it.
Yeah. Nah, thank you. I appreciate you, Will. Thanks for this time. And we're going to put all of Will's show notes, all his info and his links to his gym. And we're going to do, I'm going to partner with you, Will. If you sign up, when this podcast drops, we're going to go for a month. If you sign up through the podcast, I'm going to donate to your training sessions here. So we'll do that together.
Nice.
And that way we get Will. I think once you meet Will, you'll be inclined as a long-term client. So
we start with where you're at and try to get you to where you want to be at. That's it. We're not trying to rush anything. I'll take what you give me to work with. If it's 1 day a week for an hour, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for this time, Will.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, thanks for joining me today on this episode of the Alive and Well podcast with Will Doyle. It was an honor to hear him speak and talk a lot about his past experiences. And the question I want to leave for you guys is, when we start our health and wellness journey, we need accountability. Who is that accountability for you? Think about it. You have your family, your friends, neighbors, schoolmates, it doesn't matter, work colleagues. But There has to be one or two people that really push you to that next level. I think Will is that guy. If you don't have anybody that can hold you accountable in your life, let us know. Send us an email, comment below. Will and I would love to connect with you. I'm partnering with Will to give half off some of his exercise programs. So if that's something you're interested in, message Will, let us know. I'll help you get started on that journey because I care, so that one day you and I both can say we are alive and well.